Hello, YGS audience. This is Emmanuel Holloway.
It's your boy Stephen Newman.
And you're watching Financial and listening to Financial Therapy. Today we're in Buckhead, correct?
Yes, we are.
Great area.
Yeah, we're at the Allure Buckhead Village on Far Road. Shout out to the Buckhead family, our Buckhead listeners.
Yeah, so if you know anything about Buckhead, you know it's a very affluent area. Restaurants are nice.
Yeah. And if you're from Atlanta, it used to be the land of the clubs.
yeah, land of the clubs. Atlanta, period, was the land of the clubs. You can get a party, find a party anywhere, everywhere.
This is true.
This is what we were known for, so now that's why we were attracted.
Back in Diddy, Visions like when he was Harlem Shaking. So, if you're not born and raised in Atlanta, just forget what we just said.
Yeah, and let's just go.
But it's a great place for the family to have a meal, do some shopping. It's a great date idea as well. To our single listeners out there.
I do need to find a nice little place to eat.
The shops is in walking distance. It's a smooth little area.
Yeah, it's raining today, so today we're not going to do it, but we're going to be effective, and that's why we're not out in the city right now. But we have a great episode for you guys today. As you can see, we have our water, our hand sanitizer.
We got our masks.
We have our masks. So we hope you guys are being careful out there, taking social distancing seriously.
Yes, when in doubt, put your mask on.
Please. Now they have fashionable ones. Shout out to everybody who took that opportunity. Started putting their brand in their labels.
Reggie Biv.
Yeah.
Got a nice little mask out there.
Yeah, all right, so today, first things first, we're going to have a conversation. Well, we're going to open it up with a story today. All right, so I was watching, shout out to Joe Rogan, his podcast. So he had an amazing interview of a guy. What was his name? You remember his name?
Which interview?
I know, but it was the one with the guy. He went over to Tanzania.
Oh, okay. I know the name.
Right.
Can't remember his name.
Yeah, but salute to him as well. So apparently people go over to Tanzania.
Is it John Howe?
Chu?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
So they go over to Tanzania and they wanna experience what the last hunting and gathering tribe there is on Earth. All right, so these Tanzanians are amazing individuals because they're pretty much detached from the rest of the world, living in Africa, no shoes. Yeah. Their clothes are worn up.
This is back in the 90s.
When
he was out there. Was
it in the 90s?
I can't remember. This isn't like 2020. I'm just setting the scene.
Okay, yeah. People still frequently go, but if that was when it was, then
I remember he was 18
when he went.
This is when he went to the Congo.
Oh, okay.
I messed up the story.
Yeah, you messed it up, but it's all good. It's all good because I know it had to be frequently because he was talking about the smartphone. Yeah, so he went over there, and you guys go check out the interview. I don't want to, bosh his story. That's his story. That's
incredible story.
A great one. It inspired me. But what he was getting at was that these people, and you can Google it, like this tribe, they hunt, they got to eat what they find. And so just to give you a little backstory on the tribe, they don't have any shoes, and they've eaten pretty much everything. So now they're eating bamboos, and like they're smoking out trees to get the honey, and these killer bees are stinging them, and they're not dying. Then it's like most people. Think about it. We're like house animals. We go outside.
So you say bees involved? I'm out of there.
We were pulling up hedges just this weekend, and these hornets got out.
It's time to go.
It's time to reevaluate.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So you get the context of how these people are. But so he had a translator, and he was able to communicate with everybody. And he asked them what their happiest moment was. And this is what's going to be where our story and our episode is going with financial therapy is their response. Every last one of them was the day they caught the biggest catch. The day they was able to provide the biggest catch for their family. That's what made them happy. Every last one of them. Like this is what's important to them. So we want to have a conversation about, us as in this society, on this side, these Western civilization, how we become the CEO of our family, looking at our provisions that we make for our family, how can we do that efficiently? Because once you reach a certain level in life, I could see that after reading Way of Superior Man. You find out what your purpose is and how you're going to fulfill that. And so everything that you're doing is entangled and entitled around making provisions for your family and the next generation.
I can't get over the fact that that's their happiest moment.
You can't? I mean, really? I mean...
Not because it just... The first word that comes to mind is gratitude.
Why gratitude?
Because gratitude is free. And it's like... I'm sitting here thinking, like, what is my happiest moment? I don't know, that's maybe another conversation for another day, but simplifying your existence like that. Because everybody's in search for happiness. Like, that's their happiest moment. That's
serendipity.
It's no, not, like, I'm not, just so we're clear, I'm not knocking them on what I think to be their life. I'm actually using their happiness to shine a light on my life. Like, wait a minute. Like, okay.
Well, have you ever had a cookout that you sponsored for your family?
No.
Look, so when we was in college, our place was the spot. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm on the grill. That's why one of the reasons why they call me Cook Man. I'm on the grill. We got everything. We used to say, drink good, eat good. Like, that was our slogan. So everybody be over there, but to see everybody partaking and having a good time made you happy?
I've had my place be the...
Bring the napkins?
The pregame spot.
Okay.
I used to live in Atlantic Station.
Okay.
It was like that. So, you know what? I could see that. But that, man, again, I don't want to get off the topic, but that we can make things as complicated or as simple as we want to. I didn't know that fact before we shot this. That kind of blew me away.
Which one?
That's the happiest moment.
Oh, yeah.
That's the happiest moment.
I mean, think about it. That's what you wake up to do every day.
Yeah, but like...
It's like you out there running around for 5 hours with no water.
Yeah. They living off the land.
But
like, contrast that with the modern individual in Western civilization. They got 1,000 things going on.
Yeah.
They got a ton of balls in the air. And happiness is honestly one of the things that we're trying to find, especially with the recent data. It's what's troubling us the most. So it's interesting to contrast someone who has to eat what they kill, no smartphone to speak of, no modern technology, at least from our understanding, or very limited. And then you have someone who has access to everything, or at least what we consider to be everything. And the mindset is completely different. It's interesting. But yeah, sorry, I didn't.
No, that brings up a good point. The basic question is, why is it like that? I mean, now the smartphones are distractions from it can be distractions, you know, like social media can be a distraction to what you're trying to do because they pay billions of dollars to market to people to get them to go down in a direction that might not be advantageous or beneficial to what path or purpose that they have in their life.
I don't know, maybe humans, maybe we're never satisfied.
We're not content?
In some ways we are, in some ways we aren't. I think one of the things in modern technology, we're always aware of the next level. We know exactly what more looks like.
Is it because of competition?
In some ways, competition, because it's attached to human emotion. Jealousy or envy, not like in the extreme sense, but like in the natural, like somebody has more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I wonder if I could have more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But more so a statement on, think of all the advances we've had this century, or last century as well. And then you ask the question, are we happier? It's not, I don't know if it's as easy. I don't know. I didn't mean to turn this into deep dive Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it is.
I think another thing that made it happy, and I wrote this down, this is why I'm able to remember it, is that even though, I mean, we can't get in full context of what they may think or what they believe, but the fact that none of it was, you know, compared to somebody else, it wasn't the grass is green on the other side or what so-and-so did, means I couldn't do it. There isn't like for us, there isn't a finite amount of money. There isn't a finite amount of success. So if you are successful, that doesn't mean I can't be successful. Yeah. And so if there is jealousy and envy in there, understand when that is and be able to lean through it and not have it be spiteful towards your brother or your sister. Yeah. And this is where I believe alpha males, when they start understanding that. And
be careful.
I know it's a very sensitive conversation, but I did research on what an alpha is, right? And what an alpha is the ability to bring value to a community to where they can eat and you provide. That's what makes you an alpha. Not that you're overly overpowering someone else. That's not what an alpha is.
Yeah. You hope you heard us out there.
Yeah. So, yeah. So if you desire, I'm in a dating world and women like, I desire an alpha man, and I asked them like, what is an alpha? And they're like, somebody who demands the room, and I'm like, instantly I'm turned off. But like, that's not the case. If you're bringing value to your community, people gravitate to you because they know you're the place where they're going to cook up, and you're the pregame spot. You know what I'm saying? They know they can come in there and be successful and there's value there. So I think with that being said, the reason why we picked this topic the reason why we picked this topic for financial therapy is we desire that everybody that we come across and that we can help and bring value to can think of themselves as that CEO in their business. So we're going to break down the ways to do that, and we're going to call it the family playbook. We're going to specify it to the family. So we're going to take the same CEO corporation ideas and concepts and apply it to your family. And this is because we've seen and we've been around some successful families we've been able to work with, we've been able to be inspired by. And where we find our seam is that we believe that you can do good business. Like just because somebody else is winning doesn't mean you can't win, and you don't have to get over on them. There is good business. Shout out a good book called Blue Oceans. Talks about that. So that's a good book. Y'all check that out. So Steve, I guess the first conversation was, you brought up the point that first things first is that families come together as a collective. The first part of the collective is sharing information. And you said modern society as kids don't know what the parents are doing financially, and parents don't know what the kids are doing.
So I think, I can't remember what I was watching or reading, was they were talking about the purpose of life isn't about you, it's about the offspring. So nature is geared in a way where everything is about the next generation. The person that's living is about survival, but it's only survival so that they can reproduce. Nothing else. It doesn't care about hopes, dreams, it's a humbly kind of understanding, but nature is geared towards reproduction. And the way that nature is set up is typically the strong survive. So the strong get to pass on their genes, So I bring that up as far as the family sharing, is that one of the, consequences, not in a bad way, but just as a scientific word, one of the consequences of modern society is that you can tend to think more about yourself and about what your life is supposed to be.
Self-preservation? Self-preservation? Is that what you do?
It's part of it, but it's morphed into something more than just self-preservation. Because in modern society, it's like, you're not having to hunt for your food, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no lion outside waiting for you to wake up.
Every morning.
A lion in Brazil. Shout out to Eric Thomas.
Yeah,
but
it's a great story.
I get what he was saying in that context, but as far as like survival, it's like so you evolve into other things. So you start, and the reason that brought me to the family aspect was when we think about what it takes to help the next generation in a modern society, it takes a whole lot more than just passing on your seed. There's a lot more that goes into it. So one of the things, since we've embarked on this path, is we've noticed that we've run into a lot of families that are a collective of individuals who share the last name. But they aren't family in the sense of the word family. It doesn't mean they don't love each other. It doesn't mean they don't come together during holidays, share gifts, share laughs, cry, all those good stuff. But when it comes to, financial therapy, or when it comes to the financial part of things, they're all just a bunch of individuals who don't speak to each other really about what's going on in their financial lives. So one of the things that we've been really harping on, and it's probably just really one of our mantras, is to just bring the family closer together financially. And sharing knowledge to me was just the easiest way to do so. So to give you an example, to go to your alpha male point, or alpha point, could be male or female, I felt strongly about bringing my family together to do something. Don't care what it was, just to do something. So I've been pushing them. We had our first family meeting maybe a couple weeks ago, just to come together. But the idea of what we'll do going forward came from two other members of the family. It didn't come from me. I felt like my job was just to bring us together. But sharing knowledge was two people that had already had great ideas of what we should be doing. Now, not to say they would never have brought this up, but you'd be surprised once you get people in the room with a common theme, what comes out. And we just like, oh, okay, this is an excellent idea. We should move forward with this. And I say that to say is that for those of you who want to do things with your family, want to come together, want to build that family life value, the baby steps matter. So just the initial conversations, letting your intentions be heard and be clear, letting people know, hey, this is what we should be doing as a family, especially if you're in a family full of grown people, like myself, like Emmanuel, where all the kids are pretty much grown now. So we're having this conversation about, okay, you've got a group of individuals that share a last name. You guys definitely are blood. You've been there for each other through tough times. You've been there during the good. They supported you in your career, in your recreational career. Like anything you wanted to do, your family has been there for the most part. So now we're talking about how do we take that same camaraderie that you have in other aspects of family life, and how do we bring it to the financial realm? Christmas is a great example. So if you come together as a family and you guys are giving each other gifts in December 25th, there's no rhyme or reason why you can't come together and share knowledge, share information, share resources as a family in the same tradition that you do for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I'm going to throw this out. This doesn't mean we should support or do not support this movement, but it is an example of, and I'm sure you probably heard of it, the flower.
The who?
The flower susu, what is it?
Yeah, the blessings.
The blessings.
Circle or something like that.
Blessing circle. I don't know what you guys are calling it, but I've been approached by hundreds of people about this. And, my recommendation is to do your research. But I believe, and it's been through my family, and the concept seems similar to a lot of other concepts that I got, but where I'm going with this is that now once you've come together as your family and now you want to do a plan of action, the one thing that we want to make sure that the risk isn't in the investment. The risk is in the investor. That's where it's at. So this is why we discuss and have conversations called financial therapy, is because how can you increase your human value? For example, if I see that Apple is about to do a split, right? They're about to do a split.
4-for-1 split.
4-for-1 split.
August 31st.
They're about to do a split. I see that because, of the circles I'm in. And then all of a sudden, I want to take money out of this, not even vetting where that money's coming from, not setting up the capital structure on this side, but now I want to jump on this opportunity, and then it goes belly up. It's not Apple's fault. It's not your advisor's fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's your responsibility as the CEO to understand that moving out of carelessness, moving because you feel like you're going to be left out is not the way you want to move when you're.
Tell me about it.
Anytime you feel like you're being left out, like somebody's making money in real estate, you're not moving. You're not having purpose. Therefore, your happiness isn't going to be in the reward. You're doing it merely for that financial gain, and you're doing it because you see somebody else winning. I see Steve winning, and I feel like I need to do it. no, this doesn't fit in with your plan and your movement. So when I say the risk is in the investor, now you need to have a conversation on how do you minimize and mitigate that risk.
First, have the conversation with the family. So who are you guys as individuals? Just like any individual, there's things you know about them and there's things you don't know about them. So don't assume just because you grew up with these people or were raised by these people or you raised these people that you know everything there is about them. When you're covering a different topic or a new topic, you got to make room for ideas, understandings that you may not be aware of. So sharing knowledge is a good way to mitigate some of that risk as an investor. So who are you guys as an investor? What's in your circle? What's in my circle may be, stock investing in the stock market. In other circles, it may be real estate. In other circles, it could be completely different things. It could be art. It could be who knows what it is. It could be a product. It could be a service. It could be giving back. It could be it could be so many different things. But getting to know who each individual investor is in the family unit can at least put you on the right path. Because then everybody knows who they're dealing with. Because there's a lot of details that go into this. But first things first is, like you said, get to know the investor. Mm-hmm. Who is the family as investors? Who do you guys want to be? What seeds are already planted inside you? And figure out which way you guys want to go with it. Because there's so many different ways to do it. For example, you can commit to a monthly sort of coming together. It could be semi-annually, it could be annually. It could be money that you guys share. It could be resources. It could be contacts. It could be just support. So there's a lot of different ways that you can attack it. But most importantly, that risk as an investor is very important. So before you jump into whatever idea you're gun-ho on that you haven't shared with the family yet, make sure that you leave that room for more and different understanding than what you have. Because that's the whole reason you're coming together as a family in the first place. Mm-hmm. So just make sure you keep that in mind. Because again, what you may think is the right idea to go forward with may not be what's right for the family. And you have to be able to navigate that. So lean heavy on the idea of you guys coming together, but don't lean so heavy on the thing that you guys are coming together for. Because that can change, it can mutate, it can evolve, it can become different things.
Nice. Okay, so now that we have that risk, we still got to understand the risk of catastrophe.
Yeah, another beauty of coming together as a family is you got a larger denominator. So let's take the example of you guys investing, let's say $1,000 into something. When you do it as an individual, that's your $1,000.
Yeah, you get to call the shots, but you get to get shot too more times.
That is your whole
9 times 50 cents. Pull up.
Yeah, you wish you had many millions.
And you got that, man. That's when you know what era you was raised in. We might be showing our age a little bit.
Shout out to Get Rich or Die Trying. The whole 2001.
Man.
But yeah, that's 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
I remember you probably, they were like, yo, he said, he quoted that line where he's like, but he ain't breathing. And he was like,
I was on that 21 Questions.
Oh, yeah.
Find love.
Who was that? Who was the girl in there?
I don't even remember.
Was it?
Was it Megan Good?
Megan Good, yeah. I was like, yeah.
I don't remember the video. I don't know how I know that. I don't remember the video at all.
I remember, I was like, I got 22 questions.
It was Megan Good. Yeah, that's why I was on 03,
yeah. Alright, so what was that?
But yeah, we were talking about catastrophe. So that's also a part of coming together as a family financially.
Common denominator. You talk about the common denominator, the risk.
Yeah, we talked about the common denominator, the risk, catastrophe. Again, this is the conversations that have come from the family. So everybody plays a different role. You got the breadwinner of the family. You've got the chief supporting officer, as I like to call him, the breadwinner doesn't always be the person who runs point on everything. and those roles can be irreversible. Again, we don't care who does what.
Yeah.
We just know that typically these are the type of roles that you have in there. So everybody may have the same amount of risk as far as what you guys put forward, but everybody doesn't have the same amount of risk as an investor. So when you're dealing with catastrophe, what are the catastrophes? There's death, there's illness, there's a loss. You say what?
You can go.
Yeah, no, it's family loss, there's financial loss. I mean, there's so many different losses you can take.
Yeah, any asset that you have, any asset that's a loss. Property, sometimes you have equipment. You know, you sometimes depreciation loss. Like there's a number of this, but when you're considering your family, let's slow down with the emergency. Emergency. All right.
Emergency. The question is going to be, what are you guys going to do if something happens to one of the members of the family?
Exactly.
And
before we even say what we're going to do, let's think about what is lost and what steps are taken typically when there's a member of the family that's lost.
Man, what is lost? That's tough to answer. There's so much nuance in that. It depends on the person who's lost and what their role was to the family. So there's going to be some type of element that won't be there anymore. Typically, in Western civilization, you're going to have a funeral of some sort, so you have costs associated with people when they pass. Whatever debt or things that they may have had. So there's a lot to consider.
Yeah,
this isn't just burying someone out in the field.
Yeah, so that's
there's a lot of steps to go.
$20,000.
Yeah, it's like between 10 and 15 grand.
10 to 15 grand to bury. All right, then I know this.
That loss of income.
Loss of income. Loss of
the personality.
Loss of inspiration. Loss of their seed and what they could become and their value. So there's a lot, and then if you add on the fact that you are taking these steps to invest, then that's a loss of an investor.
Yeah. So you want to think those things through as you're getting going. And again, these aren't necessarily difficult conversations, but it's the right conversation to have as you guys are coming together. Is as you're gearing up to play offense, you got to consider the defense. Because what's the quote? The punch you don't see coming is the one that takes you out.
Yeah, it's the one that knocks you out. So the best way to do this is life insurance. I'm not going to gloss over it.
And saving.
And you definitely want to have your emergency fund because you want to have liquidity to handle things that you can take care of that makes sense. Sometimes using your cash might not be the best thing because you can leverage that cash. And that's another conversation. Is why you would have a conversation with Stephen and I. It's okay, I have $20,000. You don't want to give that money away because once that money is gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. But how can I leverage that money to where it can make more money? And so emergency fund is important. And then life insurance. And we truly believe that life insurance, the proper adequate amount of life insurance placed on each member in your family, in your corporation, every shareholder is advantageous for multiple reasons. One, it protects against risk, and when you set it up right, it also allows you to leverage money, like we talked about in the beginning, to bring about more investments, but you have to do it right, and you have to build relationships. So that's why it's second on our list, because as we know, the reason why life insurance gets a bad name is because that people believe that insurance salesmen get over on them. They believe that. So in order to do that, and again, like we talked about, the risk isn't on anybody, it's on the investor. So again, we're not saying life insurance is an investment, but what we are saying is anything you put your effort, energy, time, and money into it's
worth protecting.
It's worth protecting. So the best way to do that is when you come together, devise you a criteria of what it takes in individuals that